Live with Keith has the whole Discord buzzing today because he's there.
Man,
is your background real? Is it real, or is it like, oh, like people don't think this is real? This
Can
is
I
real.
touch it? Can I?
Is that touchable?
Is it?
Oh, whoa! That's so sick.
There we go.
So you're not at the a resort in Bahamas?
Oh no, I am not. No.
Okay.
No, I am out here. I'm literally where I'm sitting right now. I'm looking back towards the range so I can see everyone that's practicing on the range.
Yeah.
And this is where, when they do the interviews post round, it's called the flash area. This is where they set me up and get a nice little step and repeat behind us. Yes. And hey man, it's the FedEx Cup playoffs. Let's roll.
What do
you got for me?
Well, I saw that Scotty, and rightfully so, was a little down in the FedEx Cup playoffs. He said, essentially it shouldn't determine who the best golfer of the year was. Because what if I get a neck injury, right, at East Lake? Does that make me not the best golfer of the year? Which he's right. But I would say that FedEx in their backyard this week, who puts infinite money into the tour, has got to be like, could you just save that for later?
Yeah, I mean, go pound sand as far as I'm concerned. You'll be player of the year, right? If he's worried about the $25 million, then go win it. But life's not fair. And I think about like this, the way that they do it actually makes it somewhat like it counts, right? Like real playoffs. Like you go to the NFL, it's 1 and out. So if you're the Patriots and you go all the way to the Super Bowl and you're undefeated and you still lose, you lose.
Yeah.
Right? So like he's basically undefeated this season. Like the Patriots in 07 rolling through. He's just rolling through. But if somebody gets him along the way at East Lake, it'll be what it is. And it'll be a big disappointment. And the reason he's saying that, because in the back of his mind, he knows for the last 2 years, he hasn't sealed the deal. And right now, that's his motivation, which is why when you and I were always texting, but when we were texting this morning and you were like, hey, be prepared to talk about Scotty. There's nothing to talk about, right? Every ounce of what I've seen with Scotty so far over the last 2 days, the guy is completely dialed, and as a result, playing accordingly.
Dialed from tee to green,
dialed in. I didn't see any drivers, but I mean, the guy is the best player in the world from 125 to 200. He's going to have 70% of those shots this week. He's great at hitting the fairway, right? And yeah, Bermuda grass. I mean, if you want to say like his your one piece of hope that you could string to this week against Scotty in your contests is that the reason that Scotty probably hasn't played good here before, meaning no top 10s, is that it's Bermuda grass putting, which some people just aren't good at in their career.
Right.
But overall, I mean, the ball striking test here is perfect for him. So,
So let me ask you this. I don't think that Scotty Scheffler is going to let down in these playoffs one bit. I said it on Monday with Andy. The design that we have for someone like Cam Young, burly, big beard, hits at 350, right? We expect him to be this, silverback dog who gets out there and wants to win every week. Scheffler, DNA-wise, just appearance-wise, we don't think that he's competitive, right? He doesn't have that sort of like, fierce persona. He's a nice guy. He's a family guy. But deep down, not even deep down, but Scotty hates fucking losing. And the proof of that to me was post-Masters at RBC. I'm like, this guy just had a baby and he's doing the RBC. It's got to be just out of sponsorship or just feels obligated. And he won. You think he wants to let down at all in these playoffs?
He just said it. Basically, he gave you the keys to the kingdom. I don't like the setup of this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dominate it. That's what he's saying when you read between the lines. you got to remember something. I go way back in golf. I coached a lot of kids at the AJGA level, the elite junior level, around the time that Scotty, Sam Burns, all these guys were on the junior golf circuit, right? So just after Jordan and JT in that class, that next class, I saw a lot of these guys when they were kids. Scotty was the same then. He was this sheepish kid, super vanilla and everything, and he went out and he destroyed everyone. He was just basically a train killer, and it hasn't changed. That part of his personality hasn't changed. Just because he thumps the Bible doesn't mean he doesn't like to win.
Right.
I
think he's more compartmentalized and zen, and then he can focus better. DJ, for you okay?
The bugs are killing me.
It's
right?
fucking Memphis,
dude. It's a swamp. It's unbelievable.
A swamp. Yeah. But DJ, to an extent, for many different reasons, could compartmentalize well and win tournaments and just shut things down. I think that Scotty just shuts things down well. He's like, you know what?
So, we were conditioned for 20 years watching Tiger be super intense about winning. Mm-hmm. You could be like Scotty about winning, right? It's just different. And I would not think first of all, let's just talk about these 3 weeks for a second, right? We're going from 70 to 50 this week. Everyone from 70 to 50 is dying to get that 50. The cut to 50 is more important than the cut to 30, right? And if you get the cut to 30, you get in all 4 majors next year, which is a big deal. But to get to the 50, and the new schedule was just distributed today or published, right, by the tour, right? We see all the money that's still out there, right? Top 50 is a huge goal. The guys from 70 to 50 are going to play super, super, right, aggressive this week. It'll pay off for some and not for others. But the reality of it is there's not a lot of fluctuation around that line. I mean, last year only 2 guys made it over, right? Nick Hardy and Mac Hughes got bounced, and then 2 guys made it in. So it was and they were right around between 55 and 45, they just switched spots, right? So that's what we're seeing this week. It's super hot. It's super humid. If you wanted to say anything about maybe Scotty or Xander or Rory kind of taking it easy this week, then we're going to go to elevation next week. That's going to be a fitness test. And then we're going to go back to a swamp in Atlanta. This 3-week stretch is going to be absolutely brutal on their bodies. So if you want to go with a narrative that maybe says, oh, guys other than Scotty might take it a little easy this week and then try to ramp up towards the last one because that one's worth the most money. I mean, I understand that. I don't see it out here on the range, but I understand that narrative a little bit. And overall, I still think there's just so much on the line here that everyone is really motivated.
Do you think that anyone in that high class range can beat Scotty this week? If you had your life on the line and said I had to pick one, Xander, Rory, Aubert, maybe Colin. If you said
you're talking,
if you had to pick one,
I thought you meant in the high point range. You mean the elite players?
Can anyone high salary range, right?
I think that yes, yeah. I think 1 or 2 of those guys are in good enough form and could stare him down, and they wouldn't be intimidated. Sure, I do.
But ultimately, you would choose Scotty if you had to.
In a DFS sense, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Xander gave me every inclination that he is going to build towards Eastlake because he knows that's his greatest advantage. And he can maintain his position very easily in the top 2 or 3 and not be that many strokes behind. And then he knows now they've completely redone Eastlake, but it's still going to be Eastlake, right? And Xander's going to approach that play. You could tell in the press room yesterday, that's what he was building towards. Rory, very much on the fitness side of my little soliloquy right there. He was talking a lot about the heat here, managing his fitness going into the thin air of Colorado and then coming back to the heat. He was very much in that mode, you know what I mean? But there are certain guys up there I definitely think that can beat him.
Who's your top 2 to beat him? Xander?
No, I would say my top 2 to beat him up at the top. Yeah, I would go with Xander and I would go with Patrick at the top.
Cantlay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. I assume elite guys we're talking about because there's not many below 30 to 1 on the betting board. So
it's Cantlay, Fleetwood, Morikawa, Aubert, Rory.
Yeah.
Xander. Okay.
It was nice for them to put Colin at 10,000 instead of in the 9s, right? I thought that was a nice dig.
Yeah. I mean, and he'll still be popular, right?
I'm concerned about Colin this week. I'll get this out now. He was just in the press room. He just announced a new huge partnership agreement with St. Jude's and with FedEx. He's being paraded all around this place today.
Oh, I love this shit. I love this shit.
And he is going from one thing to another to another. And, Scotty's not. Scotty's doing his business. Ted Scott's, runs a circle around him like Stevie used to run around Tiger. He just doing his thing. Then he's done and he's out of here. And there's no doubt with what's going on with Colin. His wife's going to run the New York City Marathon to raise money for St. Jude's and everything. And this is a wonderful thing to do.
No,
that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that these little extra distractions are not something that he needs.
It's the fractional thing. It's the fractional things like this. It's that like the RBC guys when they go to some of these events, or Charlie Hoffman playing in Vegas, or even Xander playing in San Diego at Torrey Pines. It's a distraction, and they say it. Like, I got family, I've got obligations, I've got ad runs, I've got people dragging me. That small fractional piece is huge. Or Scotty Scheffler being arrested at Valhalla, right? I mean, it's big.
Yeah,
that's a big point for you.
My distraction meter went up today on Colin. I didn't know any of those things were happening. And then I saw him being paraded around earlier today, but I saw some other guys get paraded around, and then I was like
who?
I'm like, that's like the third thing I saw Colin doing today. And most guys, you just see them do one and then they're out, right? And the Sirius XMs and those folks, they're always the Golf Channel people. They're always grabbing the middle tier guys because those guys they want their access to media. But Xander doesn't need that. He could care less, right? So he does the thing he has to do, and then he's done. But I've seen Colin do like 3 or 4 things today, and a press conference, and it's like,
right?
I'm sure he doesn't want to do those things.
And then even though it's a extremely gracious thing that he's done, and he supports all that stuff, but you still get these marketing. I'm in this industry. You get these marketing slapwads who just now have some sort of attachment with their tentacles to Colin Morikawa and bug the fuck out of him. Like, hey, Colin, or while he's playing, and just that 1/1,000,000% bugging him is enough for me to say,
hey, these guys are so routine.
Yes.
Don't jam up their routine.
Yes. And he can't say no at that point because he's now obligated. Right.
No, I mean, same thing with Decky not having his coach and his caddy here. He travels with his entourage everywhere. Every single place.
But Decky got his passport stolen. He's got a lot of. You see that article that came out?
Oh yeah, it was in the Japanese Golf Digest. Yeah, they had full coverage of it. Yeah. So when he was traveling from Paris back over to here, they got robbed, and he lost his wallet. He kept the bronze medal, but he was managed to keep his passport. But his coach and his caddy, they both lost their passports, so they had to go home to Japan to get recertified to come back here, and they're not going to make it back until Eastlake. So for the first 2 rounds, Decky's got basically, he doesn't have his security blanket, and he doesn't have his security guard.
That's
so
huge.
I would think that for somebody that's from another country, language barrier, all of those things, your routine, he has to explain to somebody like, hey, how to caddy for me, when I want my golf balls, what the process is I do. But again, it's all about routines. You jam up somebody's routine. Yes. Anyone in the Discord, you jam up their routine, and you're going to hear about it in the Discord, and you jam up my routine, Memphis.
It's one shot over 4 days that puts you out of it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like 2.5 shots a tournament with your short game that you give up to the field.
Right. Ghost Jam's already on this. Even though I'm mad at Ghost Jam right now, he's on it.
Why are you mad at him?
He's always up. I did a best ball show today, and he was aligning with New York Giants fans against me. Bless you.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, they are auditioning roles for the Happy Gilmore 2 in New Jersey. Did you see that?
I did. I missed it.
Okay. I was like, why don't you audition for it? No acting experience necessary.
Let's put it in the queue.
Yeah.
Let's put it in the queue.
Big Cat 709. Hopefully Prez cuts Keith off minimal times. please, when he's giving us the goods.
Hey, man, Spawn, we've been hitting lately. Spawn, Rye. I had a good weekend last weekend. I hit Lydia Ko for gold, and I hit Aaron Rye while Max Griezmann was hitting cart paths. So I can't complain.
Man, that quad. Oh, my God, the poor guy.
New Jersey kid, too.
Yep.
I could see him right here on the range. He's being interviewed right now by PGA Tour Entertainment. I could see him right from here.
Look at that from Carlos. You're the new Chubb.
Chubbs. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you've got that acting chops. You look like a character actor. You have that style. You look like you could be in movies.
I mean, is this really what you want to talk about today?
No, I don't. Okay, so who looks like shit in the top tier based on your knowledge of golf and your range work this week?
So I saw a lot of people over the last 2 days. These guys are putting in the time. And I would think that, the guys that I was featuring at Read the Line, Patrick's one of them. I also like where JT's at this week. And that could be a bit of maybe a pivot guy in the middle for a lot of people.
So Patrick's on the good side, you like?
Patrick Cantley is on my good side.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, spoke to his coach, completely dialed in. They had been working on changes all through Q1 and Q2, some things that had carried over from the offseason from Rome. They weren't really solidifying. They have solidified since early June. Basically, the milestone moment, the Saul on the road to Damascus, seeing the light happened when he missed the cut at Memorial. He went early to Pinehurst, and they got some really good work in with nobody there. And he spent some time with Tiger and everything, and they talked about some things. And then since then, the approach game has just been on point. This is a positional golf course. The guy will hit the fairway where he needs to. And I think that one of the things that gets downplayed here is that everyone looks at the strokes gained numbers and they go, you don't have to be good around the green. You have to be a good scrambler here. You have to be a very good pitcher of the golf ball, right? Yep. So anywhere from like 100 to 20 yards from the fairway off Bermuda, you have to be really good with your wedge work. The number 1 and 2 things I've seen people practice on the practice tee over the last 2 days, number 1 is driver, okay? And number 2 is pitching. And you can tell when people are, that's part of what handicapping is all about, is watching what these guys actually work on. Yeah. And I'm not talking about a guy that's really good with his wedges working on his pitching, or a guy that's really good with his driver working on his driver. I'm talking about like Ludwig Aubert working on driver for 3 times as long as I've ever seen him work on it.
Right. That's not good.
Right? No, you could read into that either way. I do think he's working more than he should, but he's also working on it. Right? Like these guys, they're really, really focused on my point is that they know what skills they need more so than any spreadsheet does. Right?
But look, yeah.
Put it in the fairway. Right? And they know they need to be able to scramble here.
Yeah. Berger 2 times winner, like just a hands guy.
Great wedge player. Unbelievable wedge player. Best part of his game.
And kept the ball in play, put in the fairway. Not really long, but
nope.
Berger knew how to play and to score.
Fader, right?
Yep.
Right-handed, left to right. That's a huge, huge advantage here. One of the reasons why Xander probably doesn't have any top 10s here is that he's a drawer off the tee. He probably doesn't number 1's a fade. Number 2, it's like you just like one shot after another. You're just not gonna like looking at him off the tee.
Yes. Yeah.
So
count Rory out too.
Rory can fade it all right. He prefers to draw it, but he also hits it so high that in a lot of ways, if his driver's going, it's just unstoppable.
Brooks too. Great pitcher of the ball.
Brooks.
Right.
JT's a fader.
At one point, JT was a great pitcher of the ball. He's just.
Oh, still is.
Mm-hmm.
And an impeccable mid-iron player. You got to be able to hit pitching, gap wedge, pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron, better than anybody in the world this week. That is your bread and butter if you get the fairway, right? So, like, one of the things we have to talk about today, and when you're building out your lineups, is that the differential here, or the beta between hitting the ball in the rough, which is Bermuda, and hitting it on the Zoysia grass fairways is more so than almost any other golf course, right? This is a huge, huge separation point for these guys, right? if you get in the Bermuda is super uniform, right? You want Bermuda to look clumpy because then you have an opportunity to get a decent lie, right? When it's super uniform, the ball hits the Bermuda, goes right to the bottom.
Yeah.
That means no spin control, no length control, no trajectory control. And those guys hate that.
I'm
right?
killing some Bermuda in my lawn right now that just happened to infest itself. It's the worst fucking grass. It's
a weed. It's a weed, right?
It's a weed, right?
And the zoysia, the ball
It's
sits
like
up.
Yeah.
So it's like a T. So if those guys were good at Valhalla off zoysia, if they're good off at Eastlake off zoysia, right? Like those types of ball strikers, they have such a benefit for hitting the fairway. That's why they all like reel back off the tee. It actually makes you want to hit the fairway because the advantage of striking the ball off of a mat, which essentially zoysia is, versus striking it off of like out of that Brillo pad is like, I mean, it's the difference between Playboy in the 70s and Playboy in the 2000s, right? It's like two totally different surfaces. Right? God, the bugs is killing. I mean, where am I right now?
Where
honestly?
are you in sub-Saharan Africa? It's like, what's wrong with you?
Dude, I'm gonna be like
But
three
also,
buttons down. I'm gonna be like 3 buttons down here in a minute.
By
It's
the way,
like
that comp right there,
yeah,
with Playboy will go over so many heads, except for Antonio.
oh yeah. I mean,
that was so good.
If you're not old enough to know,
do you take
go
70? Is Keith drunk?
No, I'm not with Spencer. Oh, that is Spencer. No,
It's Spencer. Man. Spencer is definitely drunk. I've seen some messages from him. I'm trying to decipher them.
Yeah.
For those born in the 90s, please explain Playboy in the 70s. That's for after hours. DJ.
Go Google it.
Yes, Google it.
Google it.
It's still a great era though.
So really the beta for hitting the fairways is more so here than so many. It's like a US Open. It is just such to your benefit to hit the fairway. That's why the guys dial it back with the driver. And that's why they're all working so hard on the driver. And that's why also they're working on their scrambling game, because if you do get in the rough, there's gonna be a lot of like instances where you just can't hit the green. And now all of a sudden you're hitting like 30-yard pitch shots to these greens, which are very receptive. So that's another item for business today is that the greens, one of the things I love to do is on Pro-Am day, I love to go out and watch the amateurs that hack it around, hit into greens. And if the greens are holding for them, then they're holding for the tour pros. And the greens are holding right now. This place is a humid, hot, spongy mess. Yeah. I mean, the golf course is in perfect shape. Don't get me wrong, but like everything's sticky, Yeah.
You had Glover winning, hits fairways. You had Answer winning, hits almost every fairway. A Berger at one point.
Fairways, DJ fairways. All faders.
All faders, correct. Well, that's why, but does Cantlay, Cantlay's a draw of the ball, right?
No, he fades it off the tee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Test, you passed. I forget what I was going to say, but my mind went blank. Hold.
Happy birthday, Wiley.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I had a great point I was going to raise with you, and I completely forgot.
Revenge of the Nerds. Oh, man.
Yes. Big Cat gets it. Big Cat advised me not to interrupt you today, which I have not done yet. Here's what it was. Everyone who's won here has been in form, in control of their ball, or has had recent success coming in, right?
Sure, yeah, 100%.
I don't think this is a place where you can all of a sudden finish like miscut, top 70, and then come in here and win. It's. I just saw the bug fly by your screen. It was gigantic.
Yeah. I know. It was like a pterodactyl. Unbelievable.
So it's guys who are recently in form and good form. Do you agree with that?
100%. 100%. Again, this, I joked a lot this week talking about this golf course and how vanilla it is. And I've been joking and calling it like TPC Graceland. It's like a tourist trap. It's just like you come in.
Bugs away from you now.
I know. I did. I'm getting.
There it is.
I'll get you.
What the hell, Jay Monahan? Stop this infestation.
Anyway, it's just this golf course. It's really boring, but it's a good test because it requires you to hit the fairway and hit the small greens. They're small greens, for a par 72
4,000 square feet. Yeah.
4,300 square feet, which is small, right? And then they start tucking pins, they become even smaller, surrounded in this disgusting Bermuda weed, right? So like it's a good test that you can't just roll into and like figure it out. Like you have to be on your approach game. And those are the types of guys that I'm favoring in all of my content and what I would talk about today, you know, and the guys that are on the range. Like, so, okay, here's a good example. A stark contrast between two different people. I've got Cantlay next to Max Homa, right? Max is really searching. Max is testing mini drivers. He's thinking about putting a mini driver in the bag this week because he needs to hit fairways. Max hasn't gained off the tee since like that pterodactyl was born, right? Like it's been forever. It's been like 9 straight events he hasn't gained off the tee, right? So now he's going to a mini driver and he's going to change the composition of his bag going into a playoff event. Whereas on the other side, I've got Cantlay who's like switching targets with every swing and just lacing flags one after another. And Max has training aids on and he's working with, you know, Mark Blackburn, you know, he's like he's super engaged and everything. And Cantlay's just playing golf, right? And like that contrast between the two of them, these guys at this point, the guys that are vibing are the guys that you want, right? The guys
what happened to Max? What do you think happened to him?
He lost a driver.
Mm-hmm.
I watched him work for half an hour today because I was watching Patrick for half an hour, and he lost the driver.
This goes back to waste management, honestly. Even before that.
Yeah, he was working there too. You know, when he rolled into Pebble and he was really, really good and everybody thought he could win there and he finished like very poorly in that no cut signature event, that was a problem. You know, and he was great at Augusta, but Augusta has what? The widest fairways on tour.
Correct.
You know, and
this explains Corey Connors this week.
Corey Connors looked really good today.
Well.
Looked really good today.
Yep.
You know, and he would fit the mold of like a Zalatoris or a Lucas Glover who hits it just great, can't putt. You know, but I feel like somebody's going to have to putt a little in order to get near Scotty because Scotty's going to hit it better and still not putt and still be right there.
Right.
You know.
Okay, that's the other question because Henley, who seems to fit the statistical mold for this place, is very highly priced.
Yep,
and doesn't win a lot.
You know, I on the betting side, Henley is at best a placement. He's a good head-to-head guy. He's not winning this tournament, right? And everyone is like in the Henley haze. And they're so data driven, and then they feel justified because he went 7th at the Open or 5th at the Open and 7th at the U.S. Open or whatever. And I think that's great, right? But like he's not staring down Scotty on Sunday.
No, 6'8" Henley is good for a top 7. 9K plus Henley is. I mean, you better do pretty damn good.
Who's sitting up there at 9K that you know? I got to refresh my memory here.
Cantlay. Connor.
Oh, I mean, like right below him, Tom Kim. I watched Tom Kim today. I mean, it was like the freaking Highway Commission. I mean, it was a stripe show.
Yeah.
You know, the guy it was an absolute stripe show. And there's another guy. Because when you dial back the length, it brings so many different players into the mix, right? You could have like anyone from like Seabez to Tom Kim, you know, guys that can like really, really contend. I'm not saying win, but the guys that can contend, get on birdie streaks and do things for you, right? We were all over Bez for a while there in the early summer, and then he all of a sudden he withdrew one time, and then there was no questions to be answered at the time. But I saw him yesterday and today, and he looks great. So I would assume that ball striking and that putting would be back on point. He would be a guy.
Bez's made. Sorry, I interrupt this.
No.
Big Cat. But Bez's made cut last week, coming back from +2, +3.
Yeah.
And then going on that epic run in the back 9, he's fully back.
Zalatoris hits it with a fade off the tee. 1,000%.
Yeah.
You know, with the technology nowadays, almost a majority of the guys hit it with a fade off the tee because you can't spin the golf ball. So you just swing hard and let it bleed left or right. But, you know, just looking through the comments here.
I can't leave this conversation without your thoughts on Cameron Young from last week into this week.
So
we done?
we done? We had. So to answer your question, 1,000%. He is now with Keith Mitchell. Okay. Which, by the way, how come you didn't bring up Keith Mitchell this week? Just curious.
Because you talked me out of him. I'm done with him.
Because he's not fucking here. Right? That's why.
Test. He passed.
That's why. Yeah. So going into last week, I said this. You could read back the court reporter tape. For Cameron Young or somebody like that to win, there needs to be some special circumstances, right? Guy shoots 61 on a Sunday and he's not in the final group. Those types of things. When we were finishing the second, third, and hopefully fourth round on a Sunday, and we weren't going to repair, not repairing between the third and the fourth round is a huge, huge asset to somebody who's never won before. They're comfortable with the group. Their dates on the dance floor. You're just like, hey, this is who I'm with at the prom. We're doing it, right? And when he didn't show up in the fourth round, by all means, sayonara, right? Yeah. He had every opportunity. He played good enough to be in contention, which means he was playing good enough, right, in order to go deep in the final round. He didn't trust himself. He didn't have to repair.
And it was only Matt Kuchar.
And he'd been playing golf all day, right? And he was the only guy in his group that didn't show up. So, I'm sorry, but that is a huge red flag. That would have been a perfect Tommy Fleetwood scenario in order to try to get his first win. The guy's 3 groups from the end. He doesn't repair. They just keep playing. He gets to play 27 holes in a day, and he's really feeling it. And then he just goes and wins. And that's what Rye did.
Conversely, yeah, Aaron Rye, same price. Do you think he lets down this week, or do you think he keeps the foot in the gas?
No. So in reality, Rye would have just had another top 7 finish last week. Yep. He shouldn't have won. No, right? So that wouldn't have been any different than him at Rocket or anywhere else. So I just assume that he just keeps rolling along. I don't. That guy's not a big enough deal that anybody cares that he won. All the players think it's a really big deal, and they're going to give him his due and say it's about time you did that, and you're well deserving of that or whatever. But nobody else cares. The fans don't care. He's just back doing his thing, and him mentally, he probably thinks, you know what? I got lucky and I got that. That's great. I birdied the last hole, which was tremendous. But overall, to him, that was just another top 5 finish, and let's keep going.
Yeah, Grazerman should have won that for sure.
Yep. I like Max this week. By the way,
you do. No letdown. Right.
No letdown. No, you got to remember something. I don't know if we've ever talked about this before or not, but statistically, over the last 40 years, tour professionals outside of the outliers, meaning the Scotties and the Tigers of the world, they basically earn 75% of their salary or their earnings for the year within a 6 to 7 week span of the season.
Yeah.
And if you could go back and look at it over and over again, Grazerman's in that mode. So he peaked at Houston, and then he fell back down, and then he peaked, I forget, somewhere else. Maybe it was Dallas or something. He went back down, and then all of a sudden right now he's on that run of 5 or 6 weeks where you just got to pound him, and then, and you keep playing him. But this is a good fit for him. His coach is here. Radar's here. I can see them on the range. He's right next to Patrick Rogers. They have the same coach, Jeff Smith. He's vibing. He feels good.
What's Sam Burns?
I saw Sam today. He looked pretty vanilla. I couldn't say that he looked comfortable or that he was working hard.
Okay.
I didn't get a good read on him. So okay. I don't know. So much depends on the driver on any golf course for Sam. And the problem here is that everything depends on the driver.
Yeah, that's why I like Sepp Straka this week.
Sepp looked good.
Yeah,
he looked very comfortable. He was hitting drivers to all different targets. He looked really good. Zoysia fairways has always been an advantage for him.
Yeah.
Being a Georgia guy, down here in the Southeast, they use Zoysia because it filters water really, really well when it downpours, and it can withstand the heat and humidity. And unlike, Bermuda, which under extreme heat and everything, and fairways at that height can kind of brown out and you could lose it. Zoysia stays thick like a carpet. So that's why it supports the ball so well. There you go.
Like the 70s.
Like a cupping,
I
got you on that one.
I got you. No, I got it.
Adam Scott, I don't know if he's a sleeper, but he's good. He's good.
Okay, fine. Well, I think the biggest thing this week for this gang, Adam Scott sleeper. There you go. Bird. Well, Yes, we'll get his top 5. I could probably create it right now, but we'll make him say it. No, I think the key to this week is some of these lower price guys who need to fill out a lineup for us successfully.
Yep.
And there's a lot of options down there that our Discord is talking about.
So
Kirk Taylor, Todd, Hughes, Hubbard, Taylor Moore.
So, I talked about Max down in the 6s. I like Eric Cole to go on one of these like top 10 runs.
Yes, he was good last week.
Oh, he's 7th. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bermuda grass. Again, another one of those guys like Tom Kim that if you don't force him to like stretch out his driver and all he has to do is hit fairways and then put his wedge game and putter in play on Bermuda, you're probably going to get good results.
Yeah.
I was standing next to JT Poston today, and he was not happy with his golf game whatsoever.
No.
So he's out. But a lot of people were talking about him last week, and I'm like, have you been watching what's going on? Another guy down here that to me makes a lot of sense that played okay last week. He played really good here last year. He was one of the guys that jumped in to the top 50, and that was Cam Davis. I know you love Cam Davis.
What happened last week, though? At a course that he likes, he missed the cut. That killed us. Flop lag or no?
He'd be a good candidate for a flop lag.
He has great course form here.
He does. I think Ben Griffin would be a great guy in the 6s. I don't have a good measure right now out here sweating to death and fighting the insects, what their ownership probabilities are. But just throwing a couple names out here. These are the guys I've seen on the range. Now, here's an interesting guy. He was great at the Open Championship, and he is out here in his 40s, much like Adam Scott, to try to do something special once or twice more.
Yeah.
And I think Justin Rose could be somebody who's good on positional golf courses when you don't have to stretch the driver out and you just have to hit your spots. He's been in good form lately. I think Justin Rose might be a good pivot. Talk to his coach. They feel very good about where things are. They're not working on anything. They're just maintaining. That's always a great sign for the Discord faithful. So those are my couple guys down at the bottom.
Do you believe that Rose cares about the FedEx playoffs, or is he just majors now?
I think he more cares about majors and Ryder Cups and things like that. But winning a playoff event is a big deal.
Okay.
Right. I think if you were ranking things, there'd be, majors and medals and gold medals and stuff like that. Then beneath that, there would be getting on team events, and participating in team events. So Ryder Cup, President's Cup, first, second. And then the third thing would be like winning the biggest events in golf, which are now these playoff events because it goes 70, 50, 30, right? If you win a tour championship, obviously now you'd win the whole thing. But in the past, had you won the tour championship or the BMW, that's a big deal. I mean, the biggest wins of Patrick Cantley's career is that he won back-to-back BMWs. It's the top 50 players of the world, and then you beat them all.
Yeah.
Like, that's good. It's not just like a signature event where, like, maybe you spiked against 70 guys with no cut. Like, these events here, these guys are all here. Like, they're still out here today. It's, 2:45 my time.
Yep.
And there's only 70 guys in the field. Like, these guys are out here. They played 9 holes in the Pro-Am today, and they're out here grinding. So it's...
Okay, your favorite Canadians. The names that come up a lot have been Hughes, Taylor, and Nick Taylor. And
Taylor doesn't look good.
Nick Taylor. That's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings.
Doesn't look good. Good. Obviously, Connors looks good. Hughes, I would have big concerns about how much his short game can catch up for him missing fairways here. It's just there's too many great. This isn't the Wyndham. There's too many great players here that are going to hit fairways. They're going to hit approaches from 150 yards inside 11 feet, and they can make those putts, whereas Hughes is going to be making 22-footers,
So you hate Canadians. That's what you're saying. Right?
What's that?
You hate Canadians.
I mean, not like South Park, but I just don't,
All right.
It is what it is.
2:44 Central Time, Memphis time. What's our top 5? So you can get out of here. Get a bug net over your head.
Oh my God. I need we needed the budget for next year at Memphis
Is bug
because the
spray?
schedule came out and we're coming back, right? Bug spray. I was thinking maybe even like one of those bug zappers,
No.
you know, like just hang it right here. So it's like the whole time. Top 5. I like
Let's go 1v1.
because that worked so well last week.
Yeah, snake draft.
Ghost Jam. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm going to go Cantley first.
All right, Scheffler first.
Well, yeah,
We could both pick the same people. It doesn't matter.
I know, but like you're asking me who I'm betting. Who are my 5 guys, right? Aren't you? I mean,
No,
yeah. Okay. So let's pick 5. I'm going to go Scotty, Xander, Rory. Then I'll take Patrick, and then I'll take a flyer on JT. There's my 5. I mean, does that really help anybody?
Okay, fine. Do it your way.
I'm not trying to sound confrontational, but I think that the guys are looking for me to find some pivots
There's
for
no
them.
way Rory's your 2 or 3.
Rory looks good, man.
Oh, fuck.
He looks good. You know, he does. And, you know, he's played well here before. He looks less. See, the problem with Rory right now is he looks far less annoyed than he did back in like May, when he had all like the PIF stuff was still hanging over his head, and then he was on the new committee, and then the divorce and all this other nonsense, right? Like Rory just looks like he's having fun right now, which is not good for people, because if he's just letting the shaft out, then you know that there's a guy that
Excusez-moi?
What?
You said let the what?
Shaft out.
Oh, okay.
When he's letting the shaft out with the driver, just meaning relaxed and just swinging, then, I mean, that's the one tool that could take Scotty down.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
Ghost Champ. I love Keith giving the business to Wiley. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to break through the fucking backdrop behind Keith like the Kool-Aid man and choke him out.
I could use some Kool-Aid right now. I'm like
Yeah.
those kids in the commercial. I'm sweating, man.
Oh, baby Keith, letting the shaft out. Whoa. All right, fine. Do it your way. Let's do it your way. Can't lay 1.
Keith is rated R this stream.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, I might be delirious. I mean, it's really hot. I mean,
Jesus, we're doing this right now.
I gotta put a tie on for this next thing. I mean, I'm gonna die. I am literally gonna die.
The sports grid, the fascist people at Sports Grid that make you wear a suit. Yes.
Well, you know, there is a certain level of professionalism that I bring to the table, right? I don't wear a hat. Try to wear something nice. I bring a credential to the table. You know, things that you and Big T expect out of me.
Do you have tattoos?
I do not.
Okay.
No.
Number 1, can't lay. My number 1's Scheffler. You're next. No, I'm next.
I mean, seriously, where did you come up with Scheffler? You got a team of monkeys out back writing this up for you, or like?
Stop! Hey!
Come on, I'm sure you don't know that movie quote, but we'll make you look it up.
I've watched one movie in my life.
Yeah, I know. Ghost Jam don't know that movie quote.
I will go. I'll go Rye 2.
Okay. 2, I'm going to go Tom Kim.
Okay.
Hey, by the way,
You're
FanDuel had a boost on Tom Kim today. He was up to 45. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
You're 3.
Who was your 3?
No, it's you. It's Snake Draft.
Oh, Snake. Oh, I forget the rules. Ghost Jam, please remind me. 3, Finau.
Sickening.
What? Okay. You're asking for guys that all they do is hit fairways and greens, and they can putt like Glover.
What does Finau suck here, though?
I mean, he's been okay.
Well, exactly, Ghost Jam. Now back on my team. Out of nowhere. I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you one right now.
But you spent like 9 minutes talking about, I don't even know what it was before, right?
Yeah.
And I had to bring you back to the show. Who's your 4? We're on 3.
I'll say Tom Hoagie.
Tom Hoagie. Interesting. All right. So you go number 4 then.
Yeah. I said Tom Hoagie. I said.
No, I went 1. You went 1, 2.
This should be a lot easier than what we're doing, but it's funny.
I went 2, 3. Now you go 3, 4. Who's your 4?
I said Scheffler. Forget my second.
Rye,
Connors, Hoagie.
Oh, I didn't hear Connors. Okay, Connors, Hoagie. So my 4th is going to be Im.
Okay.
Sung Jae.
Final pick. Make it deep. Go deep.
JT. I like JT this week.
Poston? No. Yeah, Justin Thomas.
Justin Thomas. Yeah. Remember the last time he played off Zoysia this year, he finished 8th at Valhalla. Guy gets a ton. Like, just like we were talking about earlier with Colin and the distractions, everywhere JT walks around here, he is treated like royalty, right? He's a regional hero. That gets that guy juiced up. You know, I was going
to say Scam Burns, but I'll go JT with you.
I mean, JT is a grab your crotch and spit type of guy, right? Like, he is a bro. Like, he likes that sort of like.
You are X-rated right now. Grab your crotch and spit.
No, but like that, there's certain guys that all they do is put their hand in their crotch and like grab it all the time. It's like there's that guy. Those are guys, right? They like their chest hair hanging out. Like that's those types of guys. JT's one of those guys. And when there's all of his guys are around him, firing him up. That's why he was 8th at Valhalla, because he's great off Zoysia, because he's such a good mid-iron player. He's a great scrambler, right? He could putt these greens. He's good on Bermuda, right? And he doesn't have to hit driver everywhere, which is a huge asset for him.
This is sick, Antonio.
JT has the lowest stroke average of anyone in the field with 4 starts or more here. Print it. Hang it up in the Louvre, right? That's a fact.
I took JT 5 with you. I was going to take Burns. I'm fine with that. I think I like all your picks. We didn't say Cantlay. You said
I did Cantlay number 1.
It was a test. You passed again. That's
right.
3. There's one more comment I want to post up here. Is Homo broken? Garrett Rice? Yes.
Oh, JT is definitely a 70s guy for sure. Oh yeah.
I don't see this portrayal of JT is a chest open, like.
Oh yeah, he's a guy's guy. He's a Tom Selleck. He's definitely a guy's guy.
Justin Thomas.
Oh, he's a guy's guy. Yeah, he's a dude.
He could grow a beard if he was on an island with like Tom Hanks. Dude,
beards don't make you cool. It just proves you're lazy and you don't want to shave, right? Like, it doesn't mean anything.
That's a shot.
It just is what it is, right? The whole reason it's a cultural thing right now, it's no different than Casual Friday, right? You want to be a savage? Put a Gillette to your face. Go after the world.
Fine.
Right?
Let's both of us grow a beard in the fall swing.
We'll do it in November.
Okay.
We'll do it. All right. We'll have a contest. Yeah, I'll go full Wolverine. I might just go mutton chops over here.
That's right. For your audition for the Happy
TGL?
Happy TGL. Yes.
Yeah, TGL audition.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get a bunch of body tattoos too. It should go over well.
Okay, fine. Cantlay's your winner. That's what we heard. Yeah. I can't believe that once did you mention Tom Hoagie. Your guy. You're the greatest iron player in tour history.
Well, because there's guys hitting it better than Tom Hoagie right now, a la Tony Finau, who's, like gaining with the putter as well, a la Sungjae. I mean, does anyone have any idea how good Sungjae Im is hitting it, right? And everyone's going to say, oh, he was T41 last week at Wyndham. I get it. You have to understand something. It's the Wyndham syndrome, right? Wyndham Clark went to Mexico. He was like the betting favorite in the tournament 2 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. They make him do all this press stuff. He reads about himself in all the magazines. He gets on Golf Channel or whatever. He's being interviewed. He's the betting favorite, and he's the favorite to win the tournament. That totally jams up a guy who's in the middle class, right? You take Sungjae and you triple his odds and you throw him back in the middle on a golf course where there's a premium for not hitting in the water, playing off Bermuda, and being super good with your mid-iron approach play, and then scoring and creating as many birdies as you can. Hello, Shriners. Hello, Honda. Hello, Florida Swing Sungjae. I mean, this is what we're doing, right? So that's where my head's at on that.
I think this answer to the first question is definitely JT over Wyndham Clark.
Oh yeah. I've seen Wyndham, and he still doesn't seem very confident in what he's working on.
Also, is why do a fader of the ball? I think that means why does a fader of the ball do well here? Because
a lot of the holes set up for a left to right ball flight. There's 11 dog legs here. right? And like 80% of them are left to right ball flight.
There you
So
go.
if that's your natural tendency, it's very hard to find the fairway when you're drawing it into the elbow, right? So the dog leg is like this, right? So if you're going with it, easy to do. If you're going into the elbow, tougher to find the fairway, tougher to see where it lands. So, plus, generally speaking, there's a lot of trouble on the inside and the outside or whatever. And if you're just going with it, so it just everything fits a lot better. Especially
left hand glove, logo face the target. That's helped me a lot. I'm serious.
I mean, it sounds a little bit facetious, but I believe you. I believe it in my heart.
All right, bub.
It's great to be with you all
Yes.
for another fantabulous week. Next week, 6,000 feet of elevation and the BMW. I look forward to it.
You out there?
And this week, next week, the week after, we'll be.
One day I'm going to pop out of the background and we're going to be side by side. And then you're going to mind your P's and Q's.
I will probably not, but it'll be after this one. It will be the greatest show that we've ever done.
Yes. All right, guys. Antonio, you're welcome. David, you're welcome. Antonio, you're welcome. Ghost Jam, you're not welcome. Who else is not welcome? Big Cat. There you go.
Discord. Peace.
Back in. Peace. Wait. Awkward pause. Awkward pause. Awkward pause. See ya.